Hi, welcome to today's webinar on the after sales module. We'll go ahead and get started. In today's webinar, we're going to go over the after sales wizard. The after sales wizard allows for easy processing of your orders for exchanges, returns, remakes or reprocesses, and warranties. Depending on the after sales transaction type, you will have to follow a sequence of questions and actions to complete the transaction you want. Before we start with the after sales wizard, you must enable the after sales module to be available and set up a few categories. So we'll go over that first. So give me one moment. I'm just going to switch over here to My Vision Express. That way we can take a look at the categories. So to enable the after sales, you're going to go to File, Setup, Company. And under the System tab, you want to check off the box under Orders Window Setting, check off the box for after sales. Once your after sales is enabled, you want to go to File, Setup, Categories. And here we're going to set up our reasons for when we do our warranties, for example. So we have warranty reasons, and I already have some set up there. You can also look at return reasons for processing returns. You also have reprocess and remake reasons. And you are going to find a category for exchange reasons. Once you have your categories set up there for those particular reasons, we can go ahead and start processing some orders through the after sales. In today's webinar, we're going to go over an example for a return with insurance benefits on that order, an exchange of both frame and lenses, a reprocess for a doctor's change as a reason, and a warranty for an anti-reflective coating. So first we're going to do the return. So I'm just going to switch here and I'm going to pull up the example that I have here for the return. So I'm just going to pull up my patient here. Now the after sales wizard can be found here in this drop down. As you can see, you'll see the $ and after sales. Now when you select the after sales through that top option, you will see that a window is going to open up saying after sales, but it will be in blank. And basically what you would have to do is put in your order information in here. So you would have to search for your order, and then that will bring the order into the after sales wizard. Now, an easier way to do that is through the patient's profile. So I'm here in my patient's profile. I'm going to go over into the History tab, and I'm going to find the order that he wants to return. So in this example, I'm going to use order number 2080, and I can open up the tree here and I can see the details of what is on that order. Over on the right-hand side, I'm going to find a button that is labeled Remake. The Remake button is going to open up the after sales wizard with that order. So we'll see that you'll see the order has opened and the after sales wizard has opened with that order already in there, making it easy. I don't have to search for it. It's already pulling it in for me. So here you're going to see three options at the bottom. You can either select warranty, return, or exchange or process. In this example, like I mentioned, we're going to do a return. So we'll select return here. Here is our after sales wizard. So we're just going to follow a sequence of questions here and actions, and then at the end we will process this. So select all other inventories items to return. The frame is already selected for us here, as you can see. We're going to click on next. I apologize. We're going to select our reason for that return. So here, notice I set up a reason here. I'm just going to say customer satisfaction, and I'm going to say next. Then it's going to ask us what we would like to do with the original items. There's some reasons that come up here, and you can go ahead and select the one that you want. So maybe I'm just going to return it to inventory. It's in perfect condition. He didn't use it. He just really didn't like it at the end. So I'm just going to return it to my inventory. So I'm going to say next. And once I am done answering those questions, it will let me know that I've successfully provided the information needed to process the transaction. Click on the process button to process the transaction. So I will click here on process. It will process that. It's going to open up a brand new order, as you can see, and it's going to tell me that this is a return from order 2080. That was the original order, and you will see here that that frame is now in a negative 243.80, meaning that I need to return this amount to my patient. So the order is already done for me. It's already done the work for me. All I have to do is click on payments. It's going to take me to the checkout module here, and I can go ahead and return this or issue this as a credit. Our next example is going to be a return with insurance benefits on the order. So let's go back to My Vision Express and pull up the example here. So in this example, I'm going to use my patient here. Under the history, I will find the order that I want to return. Again, you can open up that section to just verify that you are selecting the right order. Then I will select the remake button over on the right-hand side. That again is going to go ahead and open up that order and the after sales with the order already in there. Again, I'm going to select return. I will select my reason here and make sure that all of the items that I want to return are checked off. I will say next. It's going to ask me what are we going to do with the original item. Sometimes you really can't do much once the patient has used it or if it has wear already. So you may need to salvage it, for example. I'm going to say next. The wizard is going to tell me I've successfully provided the information needed to process the transaction, and I will select process. So here it's doing the work for me again. It's going to go ahead and process that. And we will see that all of the calculations are already done for me. So you will see that the co-pays that the patient paid and the allowance for the frame and the discount for the anti-reflective coating, it's what's being returned. So I would select payments. This is going to take me to the checkout again, and I can go ahead and return that $284.99. I would just check off the payment that I want to return, select return payment. It's going to transfer payment, will automatically create a settle outstanding order balances and create a credit memo. I will say yes. And I will select how I want to go ahead and refund that amount. Sometimes you can, depending on what your company policy is, refund it the same way that they paid it. Or if, let's say, maybe you want to issue a company check. So make sure that you select the right payment method here as how you will do that return. I'm just going to move this window over. As you can see, that original payment was made on a Visa. So I can go ahead and verify that and select the same Visa here and process that return onto that Visa. You will see that the remaining patient balance is 0, and I could go into receipt and print out a return receipt for my patient. All right, so let's take a look at our next example. Our next example will be for an exchange. Let's say maybe your patient didn't really like their frame and they want to exchange their frame. And because you're exchanging the frame, not for the same frame, you're also going to need to make new lenses because those old lenses aren't going to fit in the same frame. So let's take a look at that. So for my exchange, I'm going to use my patient here, Master Yoda. And as you guys can tell, I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm going to go over into the history, find the order that I want to exchange. So I'm going to find the order here. And again, you can open up that section here to verify that that is the right order you want to select. And over on the right-hand side, I will click on Remake. This is going to open up that order with the after sales also open with that order in there. So I'm going to click on, instead of return now, I'm going to click on exchange, reprocess. Here is the after sales wizard again, and it's asking me, the order frame is listed below. So here we can see the frame that was on the original order, and it's going to ask me if we need to reorder a frame. In this particular case, we're going to say yes. And the system is going to pick up that we're going to order a new frame of the same kind, okay? If you need to change this, let's say your patient does not want the same frame, you can click on the ellipsis button here. Notice that there is a tooltip when you hover over it saying to select a new item, you're going to click on this ellipsis button. This is going to take you to your frame inventory listing to then make the change in frame that you want. Okay, I'm going to say next. It's going to ask me what I would like to do with the original item, with that original frame. Well, let's just say I'm going to salvage that. I'm going to say next. And then it's going to ask me, well, do we need to order new lenses? In this particular case, yes, we do need to order new lenses because the original lenses are not going to fit in our new frame. So we will say next, and it's going to ask us, well, do you want to order the left, the right, both? So we will go ahead and check off both. Now we are exchanging this because the customer doesn't like their glasses, and there is no change in prescription. So we're not going to select this. We're just going to select the right and the left lens. If you needed to make a change in those lenses, let's say they're not going to be single vision transitions gray with Crizal Avancé, maybe your patient now wants a different type of lens, then you will need to go here and select a new item, just like we did for the frame. If your patient would like the same exact type of lenses, then you don't need to do anything there. We were just going to select next. It's going to ask us what we would like to do with those original lenses. You will select your reason, select next. So you're just going through the after sales wizard and answering the sequence of questions that it's going to ask, okay? It's asking us here the reason for the exchange of the frame. We can say frame change. And the reason for the reprocess of the lenses. We can say because of a frame change. And we're going to select next. Here we're at the end where it tells us we successfully provided the information needed, and we will click on reprocess. It will reprocess that new order, There it is. And it will recognize that change in price of the frame. So as you can see here, the frame was $99. The new frame selected was $217. And there's new charges here for the drilled rimless. So if your patient decides to do a change that is going to be more in price, the system is automatically going to calculate that, and we will then take the payment, additional payment needed from the patient. Or maybe if the new frame is less than the original frame, it's also going to say, well, you know, are we going to issue a return for that price difference, or are we going to maybe just save it as a credit for the patient for their next order. So depending on what the price is and the exchange that you're doing, it will go ahead and process that for you in the order. So I'm going to click here on payments. It's going to take us to the after sales module here. And as you can see, there is a remaining balance here. I will go ahead and take my payment, select my payment method, and we're all done. All right, let's take a look at our next example. Our next example is going to be a reprocess for a doctor's RX change. So in this particular scenario, the patient has ordered their glasses or their contact lenses, could be contacts as well. And then a couple months later, a couple weeks later, some time has gone by and the patient returns to the office and needs to change, check their prescription, and the doctor makes a change in their prescription. So we're going to reprocess an order with a doctor's change. So I'm going to go into the patient I'm going to use for this example. Padme had a change in prescription for her contact lenses. So very important before you process this is that that new prescription is listed here under the Vision RX tab. Okay, very, very important. So here is my new prescription. Then I'm going to go into the history and I'm going to find the order that I want to go ahead and use for my after sales. So I'm going to, again, open that up, verify the information on the order. I will select remake on the right hand side, and that's going to open up that original order and the after sales with that order in there already. So here is that original order. I'm going to select exchange reprocess. And here's the after sales wizard. So do we need to reorder a lens? We're going to say yes, and we'll say next. Please select which lenses to include. Well, in this particular case, we need to include both the right and the left, and they're not going to be the same. They're going to be different, and there's going to be a different prescription. So if there is a change in prescription, you want to make sure that that prescription is in that Vision RX tab of the patient's profile. Select the box here for change in RX. You're going to see that the prescriptions window is going to open up. You will select the prescription that you want, click on fill, and it's going to then make that change for you. We will select next, and it's going to ask us what we would like to do with the original lens, right lens. Quantity of 2. So it's picking up that originally the right lens, there was 2, and as you can see for the left lens, there was also 2 as well. Okay. Sometimes you can just easily return those back to your manufacturer, or if those contacts are open, there's really nothing you can do there, and we can say salvage. It's asking us here what we would like to do with the left lens, quantity of 2. It's going to ask us for the reason of the exchange. We'll select next. And we're here at the end where it has let us know we've successfully provided the information needed to process the transaction. I will go ahead and click on process here. It will do its thing, open up the new order. And there we can see that that has processed for us. There is no charge to the patient here. So you can say payments anyway to go to the after sales wizard. You will see that no remaining balance is due, but you want to go ahead and print out a receipt to your patient. That way they can see that process that you've done for them. So I'm just going to show you a preview here. You can always see a preview of your receipt when you click there on that receipt button and select on preview, and you can see that and then print it out. Okay. All right. We have one more example to go over, which is a warranty. In this particular example, I'm going to do a warranty for an anti-reflective coating, or maybe it can be for scratch resistant coating as well. Let's say my patient purchased his glasses and the anti-reflective coating started peeling on those glasses, and it's covered under a warranty. I don't charge for that warranty. So I'm going to go ahead and process this. I'm going to pull up my patient. In the patient's profile, again, find the order under the history of orders here. There is the order that I want. You can verify that information by opening up that section. Select Remake on the right. It is going to open up the original order and the order inside of the after sales here. Okay. We've already done returns and exchanges and reprocess. In this particular case, we're going to say warranty. It's going to ask us if we need to order a new frame. In this particular case, we don't. The frame is perfectly fine. It's just the lenses that are messed up. So we're going to say, no, we don't need a new frame. We'll select next. Do we need to order new lenses? Well, definitely. Yes, we need to order new lenses because the anti-reflective coating on those lenses is messed up. It's going to ask us to please select which lenses to include. We can say both right and left, or just the right one, or just the left one, depending on how bad those lenses are. We'll say next. It's going to ask us, what are we going to do with the original items? We'll say next. Then it's going to ask us for our reason. We're going to say, as you can see, I set up a warranty reason here for AR, anti-reflective coating. And we're at the end where we will see we've successfully provided the information needed to process the transaction, and we will click on process. Now, it's recognizing here that the quantity of lenses entered for the OD exceeds the quantity on hand. So we're going to say we're going to order that. Same thing for the left eye. And it's processed the order here for us. As you can see, there is no charge there. And here, just like before, you can go into payments and print out a new receipt for your patient. Okay. So we've done all of the examples here that you can do with the after sales wizard. we are at the end of the webinar here. I want to thank you very much for your time today and encourage you to take a look at additional knowledge-based videos and articles on our support website. That's support.myvisionexpress.com.